My name is Dave Cleland. I'm with MBSI WAV in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and I want to welcome you to this edition of Tech Talk. We're going to talk about iPerf today and how we can use it to do some network testing. It's a very good tool, and it's free, which makes it even better. And of course, it has a couple of different versions, and it has many options that we can run, so we can stress test our network in a bunch of different ways. We're going to talk about a few of them here in our session today. So here's what I want to cover, more or less. All right. So the need. You've set up a new network location. You've connected this location to your data center or your core, whatever it happens to be, fiber, wireless, cellular, or any other facility. You got routing, VPN, firewall, switching, everything all working. But the question is, how well is it working? So our toolkit. So chances are that on our laptop we can ping for connectivity. We can trace route to see how our packets are getting from one place to another. We can do a DNS lookup or a who am I for internet connectivity. We can use Nmap or some other network discovery utility to take and discover all of the components that we can see from this particular location. And we can use Wireshark to take and get a sample of the packets that we can flow across the network, or we see flowing across the network. But last but not least, we have iPerf. So what's iPerf do? iPerf is a tool for the active measurement of achievable bandwidth on an IP network. It supports tuning of various parameters related to timing, buffers, and protocols, such as TCP. We can do TCP testing, UDP testing, secure transfer protocols with IP version 4 and IP version 6. And the authors, you can actually talk to the people who wrote this program directly. I'm using the URL here to reach the writers of the software. So all through this, we've got lots of information here on the left-hand side of each slide, and I'm not going to go over it individually, just some of the stuff that's important that we can do. But you can take and slow this down, this presentation down, and you can see read, copy, screen copy, whatever it is you want to do with each of these. I'll leave each slide up for a good length of time so that you have a chance to do that. All right. What hardware do I need to run iPerf on? Well, almost any computer will do. In my lab, I use Raspberry Pis as probes. I know many network operators do the same thing. They use a small single board computer to take and do that job. These days, there's a raft, I want to call them that, of mini computers that are available out there. They come under the guise of names of gaming computers and all sorts of things that will do the job just fine. They generally have a built-in Ethernet port, and some of them have built-in Wi-Fi, and so the connectivity to these little devices is just kind of astounding. I have one that I've just experimented with in my lab that's got a Ryzen 7 5800 processor in it, so this thing's got a ton of horsepower, and so I'm using it as a probe within my lab network for all kinds of different things. We can use, of course, traditional laptop, no trouble. We can load iPerf client or onto our laptop. The client can be spun up in server mode or in client mode, and it's a portable application. So it just needs to sit in a folder somewhere on your computer, and you can take and run it as a desktop, as a server, I should say, or as a client. It can sit in a regular desktop, or it can sit on a regular server. If you've got a server that is running your virtual machines or whatever the case, you can simply spin up a virtual machine and use it as your iPerf probe, whatever it is you like. It has two requirements, of course. One is that it's got an Ethernet port, and the second one is that it needs to be reachable, of course, from wherever it is that you want to test from. So there are all sorts of versions of iPerf. iPerf 2 and iPerf 3, they have different features. They're available on all common operating system platforms. The source code is available for you to create your own even. And so we can see that, that it's very versatile. In the iPerf setup, we load the appropriate software on each network probe device you wish to use. iPerf can be installed or be portable and run directly from the folder that you extract the software into. You do not need to actually install it. You can just, as I mentioned, sit in a folder, or it could be on a memory stick or whatever it is you want to run it on. The software is command line interface based. You can run it from a terminal or a command or PowerShell window or whatever it is that that your system that you're running it on operates in. Of course, Raspberry Pis run on Linux, and so I run iPerf from terminals all the time. So it operates in a client-server relationship. So you start up one end of the link that you want to test, or typically if you're testing to your core, for example, I would take and run the device that I'm running in my core as the server. And you can take and iPerf-S is all that it takes to make it go. If you want to run it as a daemon, you can add the -D switch, and then it will take and run itself as a service in your computer and be up all the time. You can take and of course enable it or whatever it is you want to do, so that it comes up every time that particular machine boots, and whether it's virtual or it's a physical machine, it doesn't make any difference. At the other end, you run it as a client. So the command is iPerf-C to take and with the server IP address as a switch, and then the options that you need after that. So if in this particular case, the example here, my server is obviously at 172.29.220.71, and then I've got some switches that are behind it: the -W switch, the -I switch, and the -T switch. We'll talk about those in a minute here. All right, so I can have a simple report, which is just simply the throughput, or I can use the -E switch, and I can take and add a lot more info to the report. One that I use all the time over wireless systems is the -M switch, which prints the maximum segment size of TCP frames used during the test. So typically on a wireless network, whether it be Wi-Fi or it be fixed wireless, doesn't make any difference. I'll take and one of the unknowns is what the quality of the link is. How many retransmissions? How much work is the forward error correction doing, and how successful is it? So the -M switch will take and give me an idea as to what the maximum segment size is of TCP frames during the test. If my maximum segment size falls down to some value like 500 bytes, something like that, I know that my link is in a little bit of trouble, and it's having a hard time to pass the traffic that I'm asking it to pass. If the maximum segment size stays up at 1,000 or 1,200 or thereabouts, then I know that the system is in good shape. So I use that as an indication as to what's going on. I can set the -U switch, and I can switch from TCP to UDP. And in that case, in UDP, I can take and tell it how much data I want to transfer, and at what data rate I want the transmitting part of this test, whether it's uplink or downlink, to deliver that onto the net. And then the output of that is going to be, of course, how many frames are lost in all of that. And I can use the -D switch, and I can run both the uplink and the downlink at the same time. And sometimes that's very telling. But what it does a couple things. Of course, it exercises your link, your Ethernet link in both directions at the same time. But it can also test the efficiency of the computers that you're using as client and server in all of this. And so if you're going to get reliable readings out of both uplink and downlink at the same time, you need to have a couple of machines running the client server of iPerf that have enough horsepower to be able to do that. So have fun. You get a feel for your network. iPerf is a spot test. Gives you an idea of the link's capacity right now. As loads change on switches and routers and that and devices, stress testing can reveal points of problem. If you see lots of variability in your testing, you might have a problem. Or you've just got a lot of traffic on this particular link, and iPerf, in the case of a live link, only measures the bandwidth that's available apart from the traffic that's flowing at this very moment. So the beauty of this is that you can add single board computers or any other kind of probe that you want to at lots of places within your network. So if I had a site, let's say I have a site that has 4 sectors of ePMP 4500, 4600 on it. So I'm capable of about a gigabit or a little bit more capacity for all 4 of my sectors. Well, what can I actually do to that site? Can I deliver that much data to the site? So I put a probe in the site along with the switching or routing, whatever I'm doing at the site, and I can run iPerf then at different times, and I can see what the end result might be. I can also take and set the time limit that I run iPerf. So during acceptance, I suggest that you run iPerf for 60 minutes or more at a time, maybe in each direction or maybe in both directions. And then from that you can take and see what's really going on that link before you turn customer traffic or subscriber traffic onto it. So it has uses in the acceptance of your network. It has uses in maintenance of the network. As usual, we love your feedback and your comments. Send any feedback or comment that you have to marketing@mbsiwave.com. And any new topic suggestions. If you want to have us dig into some topic that, whether it's obscure or it's commonplace, we can take and do that for you. Who knows, maybe the next Tech Talk is going to be your suggestion. Anyway, have a great day.